Good morning.
Oh, morning.
How's your sandwich going?
Very good.
So we had a pretty crap morning so far. We discovered a lot of duck crap all over our bikes and tent.
We got hammered last night, geese or something.
There is a lot of wild ducks by the river, so you could once hear them the whole night. I don't know why they don't go to sleep. and then the incredible crap that was on the tent and on the bikes.
Yeah.
So now, boiled up some eggs. Rich dropped the cheese on the grass.
Standard,
so yeah. I washed it, but he doesn't want it now. So I'll eat it by myself.
Hey, the Englishman's happy. Egg sandwich. That's all I need. That is all you need in life.
So
Bosh.
Eggs, soft boiled, 6 minutes.
Happy days. Happy camping, eh? Look at this royal delight I got to sort out somehow. What a treat. Don't forget me bike, eh? Well, bike's cleaned down, tent's cleaned down, packed up, put away. We're about to get on our way.
Yeah, can't wait. 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's all right. We're not going very far. Not very far at all, actually. I think it's about 2 miles to the museum that we're going to go to.
Okay.
So we're going to go along, have a look at that, see what went on here at Arnhem, and the bridge too far.
Learn some history with you.
It is definitely, today is a World War II history day. Let's find out what happened at Arnhem. I had that horrible fear then as I moved off. Did you take the disc lock off? Almost too late. Of course I did. Alright, split decision here, look. So there's a walking trail that runs along here and then through the campsite and out the other side. Operation Market Garden, September 1944, when the Allies had a plan to carve a foothold into German-occupied Netherlands. Operation Market Garden, the Operation Market stood for the airborne forces involved and Garden for the ground troops involved. Over 41,000 men were dropped in over the Netherlands at key points, and the main objectives were to capture 9 bridges and to get a foothold and a route about 64 miles into the Netherlands, hopefully freeing up some of Europe.
Big operation.
We're stood outside this museum now, about to go in. Obviously we've just been beaten by a coachload of people. And then we thought, oh, we'll have a look at the tanks and that outside. And then Eva spots this sign down here. Climb at your own risk. It never occurred to me to climb on top of that tank until that sign.
I'll take a picture of you.
Yeah, see, exactly. That sign is doing more damage than good. Eva says, I'm accepting the risk. Climb up, Rich.
You've got safety gear, you'll be all right.
Do I look like a mountain goat to you? That's definitely not the right thing to do.
No, don't do it then.
No.
Don't do it.
Let's go queue up.
Go on, go on. Go on. Nobody here now.
You get me in so much fucking trouble.
Go on. It says, it don't say do not climb. It says you're climbing on your own risk.
Yeah, and I'm the one taking the risk. Like a fucking moron.
See? That is easier than you thought.
Come on then, you go. Huh? How am I getting down?
I don't know.
Fucking idiot. Take a photo then, quick. I want to get down.
Now what?
Yeah, exactly. That was a fucking terrible idea.
Everyone's watching.
Yeah, no pressure. Now what?
Jump.
Mountain goat I ain't.
You had a little audience, didn't you?
Oh yeah, everybody stood around waiting for me to fall
and now
off.
somebody else is climbing.
Yeah.
They were just waiting for one person to start the trend, didn't it?
Yeah, you started it, causing trouble as always. Standing at the bottom holding the camera, mate, I don't know what's going on.
Hey, now you have a picture on a tank that took part in Market Garden. Here you go.
Did it? I didn't even read the sign.
Oh, I'm assuming they must have, you know?
Of course it did, come on.
There's no signs.
Right, we are inside the Airbourne Musuem Hartenstein. €30 for the two of us to get in. Audio guide, usual story. Let's walk around, see what we find. So we're in the remembrance room, and all around us are portraits of pictures who were involved at Arnhem and their decorations, their medals from afterwards. So assumably these are all donations for the museum of those who fought at Arnhem. This is the Royal Enfield 125 that was developed and used during the war. It was nicknamed the Flying Flea because it was dropped from aircraft into where it was needed. You can see that the bike is actually inside a cage which is connected to a parachute, so it will be tossed out the plane where it was needed and retrieved by troops on the ground. A tiny little engine. There's a rifle here that belonged to the 1st British Airborne Division, and there's a piece of what looks to be somebody's wallpaper from inside a building, and it says, "Never surrender, fuck the Jerrys, 1st Airborne Division, Germans killed or wounded," and then there's a tally chart with swastikas for each day. 6 was the record for that guy on that day. So written there on the tallies, on the last, it's got the dates, so 21st nothing, 22nd nothing, 23rd nothing, 24th 6, 25th, and on the 25th he got 10. This is the British well bike, a folding scooter that was dropped from aircraft along with the soldiers, again to be assembled on the ground and to get where you need to be. The museum building, the building that we're in now, was actually used as the British headquarters during the Battle of Arnhem. And did you know at one point over 1,000 Polish paratroopers were dropped in just on the other side of the river? But the firing was so heavy they couldn't even cross the river to get to the headquarters here.
The same river we slept by last night.
Yeah, that's not a very big river, is it?
No.
So the gunfighting must have been,
The German resistance was too heavy, they couldn't get that bridge.
Yeah, so I believe there was about 5 days of actual fighting here, and on the 9th day after landing, they decided that the retreat needed to be put in, but only 2,500 men actually made it back across the river because they're all being fired upon during the retreat in the night.
Newly landed battalions tried desperately to reach Frost's troops, but the German resistance is too heavy and they cannot break through to the bridge.
On the 2nd floor of this museum, we're learning about Elizabeth's Hospital.
Which is in Arnhem.
Yeah, centre of Arnhem, and it stayed operating throughout the entire Battle of Arnhem. Now during this time, there were German sisters, there were British officers, there were Red Cross, there were members of the resistance, and they were all working together in the hospital to help the wounded, no matter who was in there.
Yeah, and the British doctors, no matter what nationality, they just kept on operating when the hospital was changing hands.
Yeah, fair play to those guys, you know, they just wanted to help people, it don't matter who. And some of the exhibits here are pretty shocking. I saw a bone saw down there, which is just a small metal saw, you know, that obviously the things that they had to hand was very limited. During the fighting at Arnhem, the hospital was being shelled and there was, you know, gunfire and everything outside, and at one point they were dragging everybody out from their beds into the hallways to try to protect the patients.
So we're now part of the largest air landing operation ever. Hold tight, chap. Brace yourself for landing. Go, 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 go.
This is a very poignant memorial outside the building we've just been in with the museum and everything, which was the British headquarters. And the stone says, "To the people of Gelderland, 50 years ago, British and Polish airborne soldiers fought here against overwhelming odds to open the way into Germany and bring the war to an early end. Instead, we brought death and destruction for which you have never blamed us. This stone marks our admiration for your great courage, remembering especially the women who tended our wounded. In the long winter that followed, your families risked death by hiding Allied soldiers and airmen, while members of the resistance helped many to safety." So the battle at Arnhem ended in failure. A lot of the ground troops from the south never arrived, and they never succeeded to take the bridges over the River Rhine. The winter that followed was a harsh one for everybody.
Yeah, because the German occupation still lasted for the next 9 months after the failed market garden. So everybody that was Dutch in this region especially was, you know, the Germans made sure that a lot of them have starved and died.
Such a stunning building and a beautiful location. You can't believe what went on here and how this became to be the British headquarters. We didn't learn very much about how much of this building was damaged, but I did read that there was an awful lot of shelling here, as you would expect. I'm sure the Germans and the British were here, and a lot of the soldiers and everybody was hiding down in the cellars underneath this building. So just a kilometre or so away from the museum, which was the British headquarters, is the British Airbourne Cemetery. So we're going to go over there and take a look now. So we're now approaching the Arnhem Oosterbeek War Cemetery, about 1.5 miles from the museum. (1,754) Allied soldiers, sailors and airmen who lost their lives during the period of September 1944 to April 1945 as a result of the hostilities in the Arnhem region, lie buried in this cemetery. They died in battle against the German occupiers in the liberation of the Netherlands. The majority were involved in the Battle of Arnhem, a part of Operation Market Garden in September 1944. The 1st Independent Parachute Brigade was formed by Polish servicemen in 1941 to help liberate their homeland. However, their only airborne operation of the war came during Market Garden. They fought tenaciously and more than 90 were killed in action. You can see the Polish headstones marking the graves here.
Here are some of the Polish Airborne Division soldiers that have died, and you can see this one was aged 22, 23, 28, 23, 24. They all seem to be pretty young. Most of the graves have been identified and they have names and age on them, but you can still find many graves that just read a soldier of the 1939-1945 war, September 1944, known unto God. There is quite a lot of history just about the market garden and everybody that was involved. So what I've read also, it's that 17,000 soldiers have died, and because it was such a big bloodbath, it's difficult to identify, you know, how, where they are, and some of the soldiers that died are still being found every few years. And the latest funeral took place in 2016 when they found a soldier. And 17,000 dead, under 2,000 on this cemetery. Some of them have been transported home. Some of them, after the Market Garden battle, were buried in mass graves by the Germans. And there's a story of a lady whose house was used as a medical centre, and when she returned to her home she found 50 soldiers buried in her garden.
You can't imagine it, can you? And so many that they probably never found out what happened to them and they never made it home.
Yeah, so there is a celebration that takes place every year, and the Dutch children pay respects. And somebody wanted that to stop. I said, well, it's well in the past now, we might as well stop doing the yearly celebration. And the Dutch people were actually really offended. They wanted to carry on. So the celebration still carries on, and I believe it will be in September. There is a plaque over here in memory of that event every year.
These things must be remembered, and I think it's important, even for people like us, you know, visiting, just spend a bit of time, come here and appreciate and remember what these people done, and remember just how good we all got it right now.
And it's only been 80 years ago.
War, as savage as it is interesting.
This is the plaque I was telling you earlier about, and it reads, "Flowers in the wind, this plaque is dedicated to the children of this region who grace this cemetery every year, paying homage to the men who gave their lives for the liberation. Arnhem Veterans Club, 1944. It feels like we are far from home, but I found something that reminds me of Britain. There's a bench dedicated to Birmingham branch, Airborne engineers, bench dedicated to SPR.
I don't know what that
What's an
stands
SPR?
for. I don't know. It'd be a rank of some sort, I would guess.
Okay, Tom Carpenter, 9th Field, fallen branch members and all airborne engineers who took part in Operation Market Garden. Then this is, I think there is more benches, but this is the only one with the plaque.
This is saying go left. That looks a lot like a gravel track. It says no driving as well, I'm not doing that. You know, it doesn't matter how many war cemeteries you visit in your lifetime, every time you leave one, you're almost left in stunned silence. Just such a waste of life. I reckon cycling around these big cities in the Netherlands would be just as stressful as driving. Do you remember we were in Amsterdam? Those guys are absolutely hammering around the streets on the electric bikes. I don't know, they probably do 20 to 30 miles an hour, I guess, because people have them chipped and stuff, so they'll go faster. Yeah, you gotta watch what you're doing. Oh, cool tunnel. No, we're going down here then. So this is Arnhem itself, and we are heading over to where the original bridge was, where so much of the fighting went on. In fact, I think I can see a glimpse of it at the end of the road. We've talked about it all day, one of the main areas, so we've got to go there and just have a quick look. Very familiar smell. It's not familiar, I don't know anything about that smell, obviously. Let's put the bikes here somewhere, right here. There should be a proper monument thing here somewhere for the bridge. I think it's that rock behind us. Yeah, the distinct smell of marijuana in the air. So this is now called the John Frostbrug Bridge, and it's the bridge that was built in the same location as where the original bridge was. Now a lot of you will know the film A Bridge Too Far, and obviously that tells the story of what went on here in Operation Market Garden. This isn't the bridge where that film was filmed. The location for that is about 30 kilometers from here, and you will have seen that in the last video. Just down here there's Airbourne at the Bridge Museum, and that also tells the story of what went on here and of the horrific fighting that went on just over this very small bit of river as well, which is quite surprising really. It's not a big river, you wouldn't think it would be too much trouble to cross, but it was incredibly important. There were 9 bridges in total in order to make a success of the operation, but this one was a bridge too far. John Frostbrug Bridge. I believe it's named that after somebody who was very important in the operation. I can't tell you exactly who he was, I'm sure one of you guys will tell me though. It's so strange that everything's so normal riding over here now. I wonder how many people think about what actually happens when they cross over this bridge every day. I wonder if it's a daily reminder for local people, or if they just pass it by and don't think about it. It's on the other side of that river there. It's the campsite where we started out on this morning. Oh, we've not gone very far today, but it's been a really interesting day, but I'm glad we're not staying there again. It does look like it's very busy once more. Nice enough place, but all the families go there because they can get down by the river and there's, you know, toys and stuff for the children, and that's great for them, but we're always searching for those small quiet places. Unfortunately, I think it is about to rain. We have one more thing we want to show you on our little tour of the Battle of Arnhem, and then we're going to find a campsite for ourselves, hopefully. So the last World War II destination of the day has to be this monument here to the 101st Airborne Division. So the 101st Airborne Division fought here on this spot and moved their way onto Arnhem. But of course these guys were infamous, and they were made so famous by their stories in a Band of Brothers series, and if you guys haven't seen that, I highly recommend you do. We spoke about these guys way back when we were in Normandy at the beginning of this tour. I imagine you can follow their story and what the 101 Airborne Division did all the way through for the liberation.
What a day, huh?
Yeah, we were lucky today, really. We got away with doing what we wanted to do. We've been around Arnhem and we saw the Operation Market Garden History in the museum. That was great. But obviously we got to the 101st Airborne Monument and it just started raining. So we put our waterproofs on and it has not stopped since. It is absolutely poured down.
Yeah, the rain is going and we had to pitch up the tent in rain, pouring rain.
Now we got a problem.
Yeah.
This MSR tent has been absolutely fantastic. We can't really complain about it.
It's
I mean, a tree fell on
fantastic
it.
if it's not too hot because there's not enough ventilation.
Yeah.
But also if it's raining like it is now, it's absolutely useless because it gets really wet inside.
Yeah.
All of our gear is wet at the moment. The beds are wet. We are really wet, and I don't know. And we use the towels to clean the floor, so I don't know.
Can't even have a shower and dry ourselves right now.
But we're gonna do some washing. There's washing and dryer, so it'll be all right.
Yeah, the problem is we need a tent, I think, where you can pitch up at least the outside first or all in one job. Because if we plan to do any camping in the UK when it rains, this is just no good because it's got ventilation netting on the top. So when you put up the inside of the tent, which has to go up first with a frame, all the water comes through and inside the tent's soaked.
Useless.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll have a look into different tents because this is definitely not the one to go around UK.
No.
And we bought some food to actually cook. We bought some meat and a salad.
Yeah.
And we wanted to boil some potatoes left over from the other day. But I don't think we can really do that.
Yeah.
So
we can't even peg the vestibule and the side of the tent down because we're on like a motorhome camping park, really, and the ground's stone about an inch underneath where we are, so I can't get the pegs in either.
This is what we got.
What is it called? Stewed waffles. They make these fresh in Amsterdam if you're lucky to find it, and they're hot and everything. They're really good, but we haven't found anywhere like that, so we bought some from the supermarket.
So be that and a sad pear and a banana for dinner, unless it's ease off a little bit and we can cook something.
You know what, sometimes when it's really bad, I mean, look, 15 minutes ago we're standing outside getting piss wet through trying to put this tent up. At the end of the day, we're inside now, we've got some shelter, we've got a bit of fruit, we've got some water.
Maybe we can fry up the meat in the vestibule. That's not a good idea.
No, because the vegetable bit isn't pulled tight, so you know, set fire to the tent, there's not enough room there like there usually is.
Great.
So, yeah. Well, it's about 11:30 now. And we have passed the entire evening by eating any random odds and ends that we can get away with eating without cooking, and doing editing and whatnot in the tent. But our power has ran out now. The rain has stopped now, but
I don't know for how long.
we're just going to get our heads down and
hope for the better sunny day tomorrow.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. There's some really pretty scenic stuff in the Netherlands, and we're hoping to see all sorts of new things tomorrow. So. Yeah, a big change of pace, hopefully. So, we just wanted to thank Sandy and Rich Harper, who were the sponsors of today's motor camping. Really appreciate it, guys, and, along with everybody else who supported us in every way. And, it comes down to every comment and every thumbs up Those are the things that tell YouTube that you like watching us, and those are the things that will keep us on the road. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on the next one.
See you tomorrow.
Love you, bye.
Bye.